Hi guys, welcome to TCC's official YouTube channel. I am Angel and I'm here with Hina and Nidhi. Today we are going to get into a very interesting discussion with our newest author, Sonal Maharana, who has come up with her book titled Gossiping with My Emotions. It's a very interesting title indeed. Sonal ma'am, welcome to our discussion,
Yeah,
and
thank you.
this is going to be a question answer session where we want to know more about your journey as an author
Yeah,
when you came up with this book. So over to
okay,
Hina, who's going to ask you the first question now.
okay.
Yes, hello, ma'am. It's a pleasure to have you
Hello.
here. Hello,
Yeah,
ma'am. Can
same
you hear
here.
me? Yes, ma'am. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's yes. So my first question to you would be: do you think that someone could be a poem even if they don't feel or express emotions as strongly?
Can you just repeat your question, please?
Okay, sure. Do you think that someone could be a poet even if they don't express or feel those emotions as strongly? Like in your
Anyone
poem.
can be a poet. Yeah, anyone can be a poet if that person writes from the heart. The heart is the main thing in writing a poetry. Nothing else matters a lot.
Yes.
So my answer is yes. Anyone who doesn't can't express through words, uh, still that person can be a poet through his or her writing. Means verbal expression or verbal face-to-face conversation is not possible for that person, but still through words that person can express herself or himself. That's the beauty of a poetry. That's the beauty of writing.
Very well said, ma'am. So, my question would be that the theme of your book, with like gossiping with my emotions, which is so intricately in tune with what is human. So,
Yeah.
I just wanted to know if like there was an early experience in your life which made you realize the power of emotion words. Like sometimes there is this one experience that defines that, okay, this is when I know that words have so much of power or emotions have so much of power which I never imagined. So was there an
Yeah.
experience like that for you, or was there a defining experience for you regarding your journey as a poet even before you wrote the book?
Yeah. I would like to quote a thing that goes something like this: emotions can get in the way or get you on the way. So that's how important emotions are. And coming to my personal life experience, yes, before a few years, there was some a void inside me, I would like to say. Um the I didn't get the opportunities to do what always wanted to do. Life was not on track. There were some experiences, personal some experiences there. So then I started writing. Actually, that was the thrust for me to start writing. My writing journey started after that only. And then I began meditation and started my spiritual journey as well. And that gave another boost for me to bring out all those hidden and deep rooted emotions that were sitting inside my heart, that were begging to come out. So that came out in the form of this book, I would say.
I really like the quote that you mentioned, and even for me, verbal expression is not as powerful as me penning down poetry. I find it much
Yeah,
easier to bring out the best of emotions when I pen them down. So
yeah.
now that your book is out, so what does the word success mean to you as a writer or a poet?
Success for me doesn't mean that my book would be a bestseller. It would do very well in the market, and all the people will buy whoever know me. That's not success for me. I believe that even if 1% of the people who have bought this book, they read and understand their own emotions rather than my words in the book. I've also said in the last part of the book that you pen down your own emotions in the notes part given in the last page. Then only this book is a word for you. If your own hidden emotions in your heart doesn't come out, then this book is not for you, and it's not for keeping it in a bookshelf and reading in one sitting, I would say. So even if 1% of my audience who have bought this book, they achieve this, and they feel that liberating experience, uh, they have this liberating experience by reading this book, then it's worth for me. I've done my work.
Very well said, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So yes, so very well said, ma'am. What
you.
was the most difficult part and the easy part about the publishing process for you, ma'am?
Publishing process, the easy part is that I know my publisher, and to be honest, I met my publisher, then only I decided to write this book. He was the inspiration who asked me to write a book on this. So that was a very easy process for me, because he took care of everything. That's Inktube Publication Private Limited. And the difficult part in publishing, there was no such difficult part. In writing, there were few difficult parts, because I had to take care of my daughter, 7-year-old daughter. I had to take time out to write, especially in the Corona car, when the schools were closed, and I had to manage her and writing as well. One more thing, I would say that during writing, I faced a problem while writing the negative emotions, about the negative emotions. Um, I found it difficult to glue to one emotion while writing, because I was not writing in one sitting, one particular emotion. So some of the emotions I literally I avoided writing, because I knew how I'm going to feel after that. So that was a little bit difficult, but once I started writing, it was not a problem for me.
Yes, ma'am. Each emotion, like you have said, either good or bad, are like all portrayed very beautifully, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, thanks a lot.
I think there's this very human factor of avoiding the negative emotions as well, which you mentioned.
Yeah.
I do not want to feel pain. I do not want to feel anger. I do not want to feel
Yeah.
jealousy. But
Yeah.
getting through that wall must have been a very enriching journey for your own self.
Yeah. Then I applied one small trick. Suppose I'm feeling a bit sad today morning. Then I wrote and sat about sad, and wrote that emotion, about that emotion that day. So I don't have to avoid and skip. Means avoid that writing.
Very well, ma'am. Yes. Now,
See,
yes.
yeah, actually, since you mentioned it was difficult, and since Nidhi also mentioned that everyone wants to avoid negative emotions, I think it is the opposite for me. Even though I write, I think negative emotions bring out the best writing that I come up with.
Yeah,
So that
it's
also
true.
happens. It works for me that way.
Sometimes it's true.
Am I audible?
Yes, Nidhi.
Yeah. So, like I was mentioning, someone had told me that currently, the way that the environment is around us, our emotions are taking control of us rather than us
Yeah.
keeping a check on them. So, I
Yeah.
think this book will be very helpful in that as well, being very reflective about where do we stand with our own emotions.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
We
And
can
as
increase our
seen in the
emotional
assessment.
quotient.
Yes, ma'am. At the end. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Please continue.
Yeah. We can increase our EQ level, emotional health. We can say emotional quotient. We can say there are few questions at the back of the book which you can answer for yourself, and check whether your emotional quotient is at a high level or low level, like that.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, my next question would be, so being a poet myself, I know that at every stage, the way that I look at myself has changed a lot, especially after writing and publishing a book. So I just
Yeah.
want to know, how has it affected your own self-image? Or when you look at yourself, and do you like, because I used to do that, very honestly, I used to look at myself in the mirror and go, you published this book, you wrote this book. So how has it affected your own image, or the way that you look at yourself, the way that the people around you have started looking at you or talking to you? Has it changed in any way? Or like, how
Yeah,
has
yeah.
that experience been post the publishing process?
Honestly, being an author was not there in the wildest of my dreams. It's a dream. I mean, it's a destiny calling, more of it. So it was very weird feeling on the day when the book got released. We had a ceremony. It was very weird for me. I didn't get sleep that day. The next day when I autographed the first book to gift it to someone, that that page I just took a photograph of it, and still I see it with a weird, that's again a weird emotion. I don't know what to call that emotion. So it was a weird feeling, both positive and negative. um, I'm the same person. I don't feel like an author, I've become something, or I don't feel like that.
But then I'm pretty sure that you taking a picture of that autograph page was quite fulfilling to you. Like you have
Yeah,
something to cherish, definitely.
yeah, yeah,
So since you did mention that it was not in your wildest dreams to become an author, but you are an author now. You have a
yeah.
published book, and through this journey, my question to you is: what is the most important element of good writing that you know?
um, I've not written much of the fiction stories or like that. Mostly I've written poetries only. um, I don't know what most important element of writing you're saying,
Yeah, or
asking.
just or just a small advice to authors, or people who are aspiring to be poets or writers or whatever, who do not have much experience. Just a little tip.
Yeah. For poetry, I would say that write from your heart. That's it. You don't need much for poetry. Apart from that, for fiction stories, I think clarity is most important. The story should have a beginning and an end. It should not clutter up your mind for the sake of being more fantasy related like that. So clarity is most important as far as fiction stories are concerned. And apart from that, general articles, etc., that also must have a body, a beginning, a body, and an end. That's the most important thing. And the message has to be clear. Being a blogger, I would say that.
Definitely, that is indeed a very helpful tip.
It definitely is. Ma'am, just one last question, because like I'm very curious to know this. So
Yeah,
now that you've mentioned that being a published poet or being a writer was never in your wildest dreams, and now that
yeah,
you are, if you
yeah.
get to talk to your younger self right now, what would you tell her about this book?
Younger self in the sense when I was not an author. You mean to say that?
Yeah, when you were not an author, or when you were in a completely different phase of your life. And if you could
Okay.
go back to that person and if you could tell her something about this book, what would it be?
I would just say congratulations, and just be a down to earth person that you are. Don't change, and sky's the limit. You can achieve your targets, but be grounded. That's it. That's it. And give a message to the world. The pen is your weapon. Give a message with that. I just want to say that.
Very well said,
Very
ma'am.
well.
Thank you.
So, Hina, Angel, do you guys have any more questions for ma'am?
don't have questions, but I really loved interacting with you, ma'am. It was very
Thank you.
insightful the way you answered, especially the last question that Nidhi asked. I found your answer very lovely. Like, I mean, humility
Thank you.
is
Thanks
the
a
way
lot.
to go. It
Yeah.
was amazing.
Yes, ma'am. It was very
Thank you.
nice conversing with you. Yes, ma'am. Still, like, you're such.
I also had a great time.
Yes,
Thank you all.
Okay, guys. So
thank you.
this was Team TCC in conversation with Sonal Maharana.
This was us conversing with Sonal Maharana, the author of Gossiping with My Emotions, her newest poetry book. And if you find it difficult to uh, relate or express your emotions, I suggest that you definitely get this book. Um, and I really loved how she has put a page to pen down your emotions, so that you get in touch with them. Thank you for watching. We will be back soon with another episode of book discussions and interesting conversation with authors. Do share, like, comment, and subscribe to TCC's content, and uh, watch our videos because we have amazing content for you. Thank you for watching, guys.
Ma'am, would you like to add something?
Nothing. One last message that if you read this book, then don't read it in a one sitting. Just read one poetry a day and try to pen down your own emotions about that feeling. Suppose you read about love, then you sit and write down what, when, how, what. Ask yourself questions about this emotion, love, and write your own feelings. Write your heart out. Don't hesitate to write anything. Don't show it to anybody. Just write for yourself. And like that, you finish the whole book. I'm sure you'll increase your emotional quotient by the end of the page, last page of the book.
Very lovely, ma'am. Thank you so much. It
Thank you
was a
so much.
pleasure
Thank you,
having you
ma'am.
here and conversing with you. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, guys, for
My
watching.
pleasure.